Get the Friendo Club set up today and get access to over 700 Going in Raw bonus episodes, our monthly Big Blue predictions challenges, and the ability to ask questions at Going in Raw. We also offer the Steve Larson comic book and exclusive Friendo Club t-shirt. Just hit join here at youtube.com/Steve Larson or go to patreon.com/Steve Larson to sign up. Hey, friendo, Steve here.
Hell, Larson.
And welcome back to Going in Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to. On tonight's episode, WrestleMania 41, Night 2 is in the books, and the WWE has a new record-setting WWE Championship reign guy in John Cena, who got his 17th tonight against Cody Rhodes, whose year plus, I guess, technically, WrestleMania reign.
1 year and a couple weeks, yeah.
Has now come to an end. I thought this night had its ups and downs. I think it was better than the first night.
The first half of night 2 was great.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And then until we get to the AJ Styles match.
Yeah, honestly, that's a little bit more than, halfway? I mean, yeah.
The first four matches were really good and or a lot of fun.
The opener was a killer. Yeah, absolutely.
The opening bout was awesome. The AJ Logan Paul match was not good. You have two guys who are really athletic and you have like a really slow match. I don't get it.
There seemed to be more focus on drones in that match than...
Yeah, there was way too much focus on drones. The women's tag match was really good.
Let's talk about Cena.
Let's talk about the main event. I was getting to that because I would put that particular match, the main event tonight and night 2, more in the same category as in terms of the match quality and the pace, especially in the category of AJ versus Logan, as opposed to any of the matches that preceded it, because it was slow, deliberately paced. The idea that John Cena both wants to go out and prove that he can wrestle, knowing probably full well that if the opportunity presents itself, he won't win the match with the wrestling move, which he didn't. And I guess the major thing is I think the expectation going into this is that following last year's WrestleMania main event in night 2, wildly overbooked, fun match, that even if the match tonight wasn't up to the same quality in terms of wrestling as last year's night 2 main event, at least we'll get some overbooked stuff with The Rock and who knows who else. And I imagine a lot of people are probably going to be pretty disappointed that there was no Dwayne tonight. And it's an interesting pattern here that we got. Whenever The Rock gets involved, he'll show up sometimes. And then, like tonight, you'd think him being there would play a really impactful role potentially in the finish of this match and go a long way in terms of really solidifying why John Cena aligned himself with The Rock, other than he's upset with the fans. And we didn't get that. There was no Rock. Travis Scott came to the ring, and other than walking really slowly down the ramp, I thought, he had a role in this match, and I think for the most part he played that role really well.
Yeah.
Just took his time getting down the ramp. It's a long ramp though, so I mean,
okay,
if you want him to make his way to the ring with some sort of presence and aura, he can't walk quickly.
The entire thing was done at a snail's pace.
It was.
Honestly, thematically speaking, Travis Scott walking down that ramp at a methodical pace is in keeping with the rest of the match. Wouldn't have been my choice. In a vacuum, this match was dog shit.
It wasn't good.
In a vacuum, this was bad. Now, there is something to be said about, we've used this word a couple times over the past 48 hours, intrigue. How intrigued are you by this match? We had this conversation a bit about Charlotte and Tiffany Stratton in terms of, well, for me, we did this on our star ratings.
Yeah.
You were let down by, it's funny because we gave the same rating. You were let down by the fact there's no story. There's no actual constructed story going into the match.
Yeah.
And for me, the intrigue was there. There was no story, but like that segment on SmackDown everybody talked about. And so like with this match here, there was tons of intrigue going into it. And when there's intrigue, everything in the match kind of is magnified. And so it's like, you're like, oh, this happened. And it might not have been all that intriguing, but I kind of want to know what happens next throughout the entire match to know what's going to happen in the end. And it had that. And that was something. And the whole heel Cena, like the first match of heel Cena's reign was tonight. And there was like, oh, how was that going to go down? Well, he's very slow now.
Yeah.
And there's something about him being very slow as kind of like, I don't know, anti-entertainment for the fans. So it's kind of a shot at that.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand that.
I'm not even saying like, oh, I liked it.
No, I know.
I'm saying there's something there is a bit of an attraction to a degree.
I understand that, to kind of have like a purposely unentertaining wrestling match.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like there's a way to do that that's
not this.
Not this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Not
this look, I'm just gonna break it down for you. This sucked.
It wasn't good. It wasn't good.
I am happy with the outcome. I love that Cena has 17. I love that this iteration of Cena has 17. And I do want to know what happens next. I want to know what he's going to do after this. What is he going to say?
I'll tell you one thing he's probably going to do. More slow, methodical, boring matches.
This is going to be his match from now on.
Yeah. A lot of double axe handles. Because we got a lot of those tonight.
There were so many.
There was a ton of double axe handles.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
and it's like the thing is you can have. I think the thing is this: you could have a slow, methodical match, but like late in the whole build up, Cena said to Cody, I believe it was a go home segment. You know, essentially, are you gonna do what it takes to win? Are you gonna be concerned about being a good person? Because you can't have it both ways. Even though John Cena, as the hero of WWE over the course of 20 years, achieved just about everything imaginable except being Intercontinental Champion within WWE, wealthy, you know, several times over. He's got a successful Hollywood career, so I don't know what else like he could want. And so that's why he turned heel. But anyways, that was the idea going into the go-home segment that John Cena proposed to Cody. And that played out at the end where Cena gets the title, tries to hit Cody with it. Cody blocks it. They have a little tug of war. And then Cody holds it. And it's like, oh, is he going to use it? No, he's not. He's going to be a good person. And Cena kicks him in the balls, hits him with the title, wins after that with not a wrestling move.
They literally did tell that story beat. At least they set that story beat up and they executed on it.
But earlier on, Cody did poke John Cena in the eyes.
Sure. Yeah.
Technically, that is against the rules.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it was definitely a choice to go in this direction. It's a very, let me put it this way. Everything that we have seen from John Cena, kind of like even every interview where he's talked about wrestling, I mean, I'll never forget. And I advise everybody watch this because it's pretty fascinating. Him breaking down his debut match against Kurt Angle. He's sitting in like on a hotel room or something in a suit, and he's watching this. And it's actually really kind of intriguing because he just dogs on the match the whole time. He's like, none of this matters. They're just moves. Nobody in the crowd is moved by this. Nobody cares. And it's pretty interesting. And like that John Cena, I feel constructed this match.
Yes.
And the fact that he, it was also revealed sometime, I think in the Bray Wyatt documentary, that he was the primary creative behind Firefly Funhouse. John Cena, maybe for his own good, put together this match that was basically, I could see it anti-entertainment. I can see that.
Yeah. He's
deconstructing
the idea of a pro wrestling match to the point to make it purposely unentertaining. Which is a choice.
It is a choice.
It's a choice. You know, if he comes out and says, "I'm going to ruin wrestling," well, if you have a few more matches like this, the distinct possibility that happens.
I completely forgot that he said, "I'm going to ruin wrestling." Larson, the match tonight kind of ruined wrestling.
Like, is he going to have a year of purposely bad matches?
Is John Cena the Werner Herzog is he deconstructing everything? Is he going to ponder everything in the ring?
And I feel like the worry is it'll be more of an idea as opposed to a fully thought out way of implementing it in a distinct way with each match. It's just, hey, how can we make this match just kind of boring?
The best response to everything we're saying right now is simply with this one YouTube chat. Alfredo says, "Where the fuck was The Rock?" Yeah, dude. I mean, look, we can sit here and over intellectualize this match,
I'll put this out there. What is one of The Rock's nicknames?
He's
the most electrifying man in sports entertainment. The Rock is what?
Yeah,
entertaining.
He's entertaining. Yeah, this was
you have The Rock out there. The entertainment factor goes up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, dude. Yeah. This was, like you said, definitely a choice, but it just felt like a very John Cena 2025 match. I mean, this felt like everything that he has said in his promos, this match achieved. Yeah. I'm surprised. I will guarantee you, because when his entrance, there was no Tron. There was music, and I will.
His name was his name. It was just his name on the Tron.
In what font? Okay, I didn't notice that. What was the font? Because there was like no LEDs going.
Oh, it was just like a pretty basic font, just his name, and then on the ramp, it was just his name.
Yeah. I will almost guarantee he advocated for a complete absence of all that presentation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is at the very least, it's interesting, but it just doesn't make for very compelling television.
Especially on the grandest stage in the mall at WrestleMania.
Well, what better place, Larson?
No, I know.
What better place?
If they're looking through the prism of ruining wrestling, having a purposely dog shit Night 2 main event of WrestleMania, it's a choice. It's a choice. It is. It is.
And I'm not. And look, I don't want anybody to consider this a defense of what we saw tonight.
Oh, I think we're trying to figure it out. Why?
Which is probably what he wants.
Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how much this is all being intellectualized. I don't know. I know we have the stuff with Cena to work off of to put the thought in our head that maybe this is all a very deliberate choice. But then, there's more than one person in the ring opposite Cena. You think Cody would hear this and be like, "I'm cool having a dog shit match"?
Oh, man. I mean, dude, that's a question. That's a good question. Because Cody wrestled a Cody. Cody tried to wrestle a Cody match. I don't know. It's honestly one of the most, now that I'm like, we're really chewing on it.
It's one of the most bizarre WrestleMania main events I've seen in a while.
Adrian C says, with how hyper analytical Cena is, it seems possible. He actually, one of the funny things is he seemed to be legitimately taking joy out of this. Getting joy out of it by taking joy out of it.
Yes.
He seemed tickled.
Yeah.
Cena did.
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot to chew on here overnight, especially now because we're doing our star ratings tomorrow morning.
Oh my God. How am I even going to start with this one? I have no idea. I don't know. We can talk about though. Let's talk about Cena going forward and Cody going forward.
Yeah. You got to assume the trajectory for both is a rematch down the line where Cody wins.
Oh, absolutely. And I don't know if that would be at SummerSlam or okay. So I'm rewatching the entrance. Dude, it's if I'm not mistaken, it's like Arial Black.
Yeah. Yeah.
That font.
Yeah.
I will guarantee you he advocated to lose the music.
Oh, you mean the Tron? Because the music was there.
No, I know. No, I'm saying he advocated to lose the music, and they said we can't do that.
Yeah.
There's
Well,
going to be a story
he did
behind
say in one of
this.
his promos that he wants to keep the music because the expectation is the fans will want him to have heel music now that he's a heel, so he wants to keep the old music.
Yeah, no, I know, but he's always had the Tron. I'm
Yeah.
through all this, through all the promos and everything.
Yeah.
We got a super chat here from Jalen saying his matches have always been Cheeks. No.
No, he's had a lot of really good matches.
Cena has had a lot of really good matches.
Mm-hmm.
Dan Daniel says, how hyped are we for Cena versus Orton now? Orton already works a methodical pace.
My gosh.
I mean, honestly, like some of these dudes are going to listen to Cena's pitch for anti-entertainment and be like just tickled.
Yeah, Orton might be one of them.
Orton will definitely be one of
We're
them.
going to get 10 minutes of Randy Orton circling John Cena, stomping on body parts.
Yeah.
It's going to be 10 minutes of that.
10 solid. Yeah. Tia Katai here says with a super chat, I love in movies when the bad guy makes the movie boring so the audience hates it. Genius. I mean, you know,
that's
Warhol. Warhol. It was like 8 hours of the Empire State Building was
Yeah.
one of his movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't know. This is it's pretty wild. Anyways, we have some sponsors for the show today, Larson.
We do.
So let's go ahead and talk about them, please.
Yes, let's do that. Let's take a quick break to get a word from our sponsor, Mint Mobile. Steve.
Yes.
You know, I've always been confused. Is it data or is it data? Like, I haven't taken an English class in a long time, so I don't know.
So the character in Star Trek is Data, but I believe you can say data or data.
Yeah.
I think data.
Yeah.
I think most people say data, I think.
Yeah, regardless of how you say it, I thought it was totally normal to pay a fortune for my monthly data plan. That is until I found out that Mint Mobile's premium wireless plan started at just $15 a month.
Did I say data? Data is the character.
Data.
Did I say that? Did I say data? I said it's data, right?
It's confusing, isn't it?
It's so confusing. But you're right, man. Regardless, with Mint Mobile, you can say goodbye to those outrageous monthly bills and unexpected overages. See, all Mint Mobile plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text, all in the nation's largest 5G network. And you can bring your own phone and keep your current phone number and all your existing contacts.
So ditch overpriced wireless and get 3 months of premium wireless service from Mint Mobile for $15 a month. No matter how you say it, data, don't overpay for it. Shop data plans at mintmobile.com/raw. That's mintmobile.com/raw.
Upfront payment of $45 for a 3-month 5 gigabyte plan is required, which is the equivalent to $15 a month. New customer offer for first 3 months only, then full price. Plan options are available. Taxes and fees are extra. See Mint Mobile for details.
And let's get a word from our sponsor, NordVPN. So, Steve, I know you recently cut the cord, so I got to ask you,
Yeah.
how are you enjoying it?
How am I enjoying it? How am I enjoying saving tons of money? A lot, actually. Quite a bit. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. But when I did it, you know, I needed to make sure I could still watch NXT and SmackDown. That was like a prerequisite because it's for my job. With NordVPN, I can change my virtual location so I can catch NXT every Tuesday and SmackDown every Friday. NordVPN is also the fastest VPN in the world, so that means no buffering or lagging, and it also stops my ISP from throttling my bandwidth.
Throttling, no way. And that's not all, Steve. NordVPN also keeps your private online data, like passwords and bank details, safe and offers premium cybersecurity for the price of a cup of coffee a month. Their threat protection feature keeps you safe from viruses, malware, and phishing sites. Plus, one NordVPN account can be used on how many? Up to 10 devices.
And to get the best discount off your NordVPN plan, go to nordvpn.com/raw. Our link will also give you 4 extra months on the 2-year plan. There's no risk with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. The link is in the podcast episode description box.
And this episode of Going in Raw is sponsored by BetterHelp. You know, I've spoken quite a bit about my own experience going to therapy here on the show. And while therapy did help me learn the tools I needed to better cope with severe anxiety that I was dealing with in my mid-20s, I also found out that in-person therapy can get very, very expensive, with session fees adding up quickly. But with BetterHelp, therapy can feel more accessible and not like a luxury.
BetterHelp offers quality care at a price that makes sense. With BetterHelp, you pay a flat weekly fee for sessions, saving you big on cost and time. Your mental health is worth it, and now it's within reach.
Plus, BetterHelp is completely online, making therapy far more convenient. So, 20 years ago, when I was going to therapy, I had to deal with LA traffic to get to my appointments. But with BetterHelp, you can join a session with the click of a button so therapy can fit into your hectic schedule, and you can switch therapists at any time.
Your well-being is worth it. Visit betterhelp.com/raw today to get 10% off your first month.
That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/raw.
Let's talk about the good end of the show. The very beginning, we had, of course, for the women's world title, Io Sky defending against Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair. Hell of a way to kick off night 2. This match was everything. It was awesome. And much to our delight, Io Sky retained. Bianca and Rhea were obsessed with each other. That played out in this match. Io ended up getting the pin on Bianca Belair right after she hit. A Riptide went for a pin, and then Io hits her with the moonsault. I think that's how it went down, right?
KOD.
Okay, I'm sorry, what did I say?
Riptide.
I said Riptide. That's Rhea's. Bianca hits with the KOD. Didn't notice Io going up for that moonsault. Thought she was out. Io ends up hitting it on Bianca. Gets the pin. Match was awesome. Can't say enough good things about it. Where do things go from here? Bianca obviously has been pretty upset about Rhea getting her way into this match after Bianca earned it. Good points, but oftentimes some of the better heels can make good points. Do you see a character shift for Bianca Belair here?
It's entirely possible. She's been getting some boos lately. So I guess that's possible. Obviously they're setting things up for Bianca and Rhea next year at Mania. The intensity from the opening bell to the very end of this match was as good as you can ask for. Sense of urgency. Everything mattered in this match because they had intent behind everything they did. Stellar match. Match of night 2, in my opinion. Without
Absolutely.
a doubt.
Oh, yeah.
And there was a lot of really good matches in the first half of night 2, especially.
Yeah.
But this one, in terms of just across the board, urgency, intensity, good ring work, good storytelling. This match was fantastic. I assume Io's going to have a series of feuds. Bianca and Rhea might cross paths here and there throughout the year, but of course, it's going to all lead to Mania next year where they'll have a one-on-one bout.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens going forward in terms of where they are on their respective brands. Rhea's on Raw, and Bianca's on SmackDown. Bianca's on SmackDown. That could change with the draft. If the draft is coming up pretty soon, they could find themselves on the same brand and build a year-long program.
I mean, even if either Rhea gets drafted, if no one gets drafted to the other brand, who's to say obviously the brand split's not
It
rigid.
is the loosest thing in the world.
So they could still cross paths while being on separate brands. One of them can win the Rumble while the other one's champion. Think back to the beginnings of the feud here and say, oh, this choice is easy for me. You could just do it that way. And that way you can have them cross paths and continue the story you want to build up to Mania while each of them having their own stories on their respective show. Because if they're both on SmackDown, you're like, well, why don't they just have this match at Backlash,
It would be interesting if on their respective brands, they try to one-up each other in some way, shape, or form. I don't know how. But if there's always the indication that they got their eye on the other one heading into next year's WrestleMania, which you got to think is going to be a title match of some sort.
Oh, yeah.
So one of them is going to be winning one of those titles at some point between now and next year's WrestleMania, whichever one it is. I mean, there's not a ton of, unlike the men's world titles, there's not a ton of difference in terms of the prestige of each of those titles.
Yeah.
It's not like one is featured more heavily than the other.
One is not called the Undisputed Women's Championship. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. One isn't the clear, if honestly, like looking at both of these matches, the Charlotte Stratton and then this one, you got to think that the Io Rhea Bianca one with like probably the 3 biggest women stars in the company would be, headlining over the other one. But I think that could change depending on the competitors involved. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they approach what clearly would seem to be Bianca versus Rhea heading into a one-on-one next year at WrestleMania, and if they have a long-term story plotted out for that in advance. When they, we obviously would love EO. There is something very like, and we've heard it before, Stone Cold Rock with Rhea and Bianca. That it's pretty electric when they're just in their one-on-one.
Yeah.
That being said, Io's like probably the best person they got in the ring in the entire company.
Yeah.
And she's so much fun to watch. I love that she won this match. I think it's awesome. And they seem to not give a shit about the Bianca streak at this point.
Yeah.
They referenced in, I think, her intro or her entrance
4-1 or something like that. Yeah.
that she's 4-1. And I know she mentioned in her little thing in her video package on Raw that she's never been pinned in a match at WrestleMania, but I don't think, how do you express that in a marketing slogan? I kind of feel like just don't worry about that at this point. And on top of that, she has been pinned at this point. So that's out.
Yeah.
Now it'll be just title, two huge stars, the two biggest stars of their generation in the women's division for sure, but arguably at the top of the card as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
For a title at WrestleMania. That's going to be a big deal next year, assuming that's going to be
and
the
it should main event.
And it's absolutely 1,000%, 1,000%, yeah.
Other good, we got a fun Sin City street fight between Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest with a bonkers finish. Absolutely bonkers finish.
This was unexpected.
Completely unexpected level of violence. Unexpected. And the callousness with which Drew McIntyre delivered that move and then insisted the ref come and raise his hand before checking on Damian Priest, who just had his head claymored against a chair, propped up in the corner, was something else.
I was surprised because, like, the rest of the fight, it was a street fight. So, they used a bunch of weapons and stuff. And it was not terribly compelling. It was fun.
Yeah, it was entertaining, but yeah, definitely not.
And then that finish just put it over the top.
Yeah.
There was a Claymore against a chair propped in the corner. It was awesome. It was absolutely outstanding, completely out of nowhere. And yeah, Drew's character work, as always, really something to behold. Drew McIntyre, what's next for him? Where does this eventually lead to?
We got a situation coming out of WrestleMania where we have, obviously, Seth Rollins now aligned with Paul Heyman. You got to think on Raw, huge things planned for him.
Mm-hmm.
You got to expect, we kind of anticipated that Drew would win this and then probably not lose again for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
So you got Seth probably with a ton of momentum. You're going to have Drew with a ton of momentum. And both of them are on Raw, right?
No, Drew's on SmackDown.
Drew's on SmackDown? Well, he's not challenging Cena maybe for that title. So it's going to be when Cody gets the title back. He'll be probably first in line.
So Money in the Bank is I could totally
June,
see it.
Yeah.
So Drew McIntyre checks this one off his list because of what happened last year.
Yeah.
Damian Priest. And I do get the feeling that they're going to look at what his 2024 was like and maybe try to have him check off more of the failures of his past. Money in the Bank, of course, is one of them. He got Money in the Bank and he failed to cash in that night. I could see him being an easy favorite for the June Money in the Bank briefcase, not cashing in that night, though.
No, saving it. A match that should happen, maybe at SummerSlam, is him versus Roman. And he gets the win over Roman.
That could be. Yeah, that could be. That could absolutely be.
We got a new Intercontinental Champion. It's not Finn Balor, unfortunately, Steve.
I'm heartbroken. Can't say I'm terribly surprised, but I'm heartbroken.
Dom Mysterio is your new Intercontinental Champion.
And the crowd turned him face.
Yeah.
Which he was getting good reactions anyways.
Yeah.
But, like, there didn't need to be. With Dom, it has been this awesome thing where the character development has been so stark and impressive. And Finn Balor has, introduced this element into Judgment Day where he just treats Dom like shit, big dogs him all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think by virtue of that story and the fact that Dom as a bad guy has been so entertaining, and I don't know what the reaction is going to be like on a weekly basis on Raw, but you got to think they're going to roll with some sort of Judgment Day, Civil War split, Finn being the bad guy in this situation, being pissed off by what happened at WrestleMania, and that's going to increase Dom's stock as a good guy, right?
Yep. That's exactly what it is. 1,000%. 1,000%. We had a return, Becky Lynch. She was Lyra's partner tonight after Bayley was written off the show, which is still strange. And then Randy Orton's mystery opponent, say his name and he appears, Joe Hendry. Short match,
nuts.
Not much of a match, but wildly fun.
That was nuts. You and I had both, I think, leaned towards Rusev being the guy here. Mm-hmm. There's other names that are possible. I know he's been teased for this SmackDown coming week. This coming week SmackDown, Aleister Black, Sami Zayn, maybe with some sort of bizarre logic that Kevin Owens, it's a real thing, and so I'm going to help my real friend, even though in kayfabe he totally
it wouldn't make any sense.
It wouldn't make any sense. I know. Or like Orton was saying on SmackDown, just a random fan hopping the barrier, maybe.
Yeah.
Wasn't that? It was TNA champion Joe Hendry, and that crowd was going crazy, and he got all of his shit in that small amount of time, and when he did his pose in the ring, 5 minutes into the match, got hit with an RKO. Orton picked him up, gave him some encouraging words, held his hand up, another RKO.
Yeah.
And gave him a big pat on the chest and did his own pose. It was awesome.
Oh, he did the Joe Hendry thing. He did the
yeah. Well, he did the Joe Hendry thing into his own pose.
Into his own pose. Yeah, that was great.
It was great, man. It was awesome, and what a wonderful. He wasn't in the Rumble, and a lot of people disappointed by that. But this moment, I don't think there's any question bigger. For him to get this Mania spot.
Oh yeah,
absolutely awesome.
Without a doubt. Well, we can just jump into it. Let's start with the open of the show. Stephanie McMahon comes and talks about being at WrestleMania 9, welcomes the crowd to Night 2, WrestleMania 41, kicks off with Io defending against Bianca and Rhea. Again, from the opening bell, just the pace was great, energy, intensity, all of it. And it never let up for the full probably 20 minutes of the match. It was so good.
Yeah, this was awesome.
And I knew I had the feeling the finish was going to be good, so I was here. I want to make sure I get the notes how I want it for the finish because it was so good. So Bianca hits Io with a 450. Rhea breaks up that pin, hits Bianca with a riptide. Bianca kicks out. So Rhea's looking for a riptide on Io. Io reverses into a DDT, but then Io runs into a kick from Rhea. Rhea's looking for a super riptide. Io counters with a hip toss, looks for the moonsault. Rhea gets her feet up. Bianca hits Io with the KOD, but Rhea breaks up that pin. So Io kind of rolls out of the ring, and Bianca's talking a bunch of crap to Rhea, pie-facing her a bunch. So Rhea slaps her. They're trading strikes. Rhea sends Bianca to the apron, looking for a superplex back in the ring, but Bianca fights her off. Rhea headbutts Bianca to the floor. So then Io hits Rhea with a palm strikes, looking for a poison rana off the top, which would have been bonkers if he'd hit that. But Rhea blocks, sends Io face first into the ring post. So Bianca then picks Rhea off the top rope, looking for a KOD. Rhea lands on her feet, looks for a riptide. Bianca escapes, hits Rhea with her braid, hits the KOD, and then Io breaks it up with the moonsault and then covers Bianca to get the win. Fantastic.
Awesome.
And that was just all bang, 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 bang.
It was, yeah. No, this was really, really great stuff. So we'll see what happens with Rhea and Io on Raw tomorrow night. By the way, we will be doing our Raw review after Raw After Mania tomorrow evening.
Yep.
So be sure to keep an eye out for that. We got a lot of people watching right now, so do us a solid. Hit that subscribe button and the notify bell.
So chat is reminding us that Joe Hendry was in the Rumble. He got eliminated by Roman Reigns.
Oh, shit. He was in the Rumble. That's right. Wasn't there something recently that people were expecting him to be in? Oh, it was the Scotland show as the mystery partner.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Okay, yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, he was in the Rumble. My bad. Shotgun Sean says both triple threats were matches of their nights with the super chat. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. I suppose we can mention this really quick as well. We have got, for the biggest predictions challenge ever, we have ourselves a new champion, but a familiar champion because this person has been champion twice before. Now he ties the record with John Hosey Talking about champ, Fear and Loathing, now the 3-time champ. He gets the hat, the Friendo Mania Predictions Championship hat. And of course, he gets... I get to get rid of this thing now. The CM Punk Signature Series bootleg from Pakistan. This thing needs to be out of my house. I've got cuts all up and down my arm from this thing. I mean, there's sort of, I've stayed away from the title for a bit, but like I had all sorts of cuts on my hand from this thing. So now it's going to be with him in his possession. He won by what, 7 points, I believe?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Congratulations.
God dang it.
It's very sharp. Let's talk about this.
Hold on a second. We head into the May Predictions Challenge. We have not talked one lick about it because we've only been talking about this Predictions Challenge.
Would be Backlash and Double or Nothing, yeah?
Probably. I don't know. I haven't looked at the calendar. We'll talk about it. We're going to figure out what's going to be on the line this time. And yeah, so it should be a lot of fun once again. But yeah, this one, biggest one ever. Thanks everybody for participating. Yes. We greatly appreciate it.
We absolutely do.
So yeah, apparently, right now, Cena's press interview is crazy, they're saying.
Oh, really?
He's saying that all the questions are clickbait questions. Interesting.
So he's just not answering anything.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, there's that. Also, just this one last thing here.
Sure.
Hold your horses. We got new merch, Larson. We got new merch. I'm wearing it.
Yeah, you might have noticed that Steve's wearing stuff that you might think, hey, is that John Cena new gear for 17th champion? It looks like it, but you'd be wrong. That's actually You Can't Steve Me, it says there on the hat.
That's right.
A handsome looking design there on a handsome looking fella.
Here, I'll put the card up right there.
And then,
this is, by the way, this is not AI artwork here. This is Steve, original artwork of Steve wearing the shirt that we are hawking right now. And on that shirt, there's Steve wearing that shirt. And I'm holding, of course, the CM Punk Signature Series title from W. That's the real one, though. That's a drawing of the real one, not the Pakistan one. You can get this right now at friendoshop.com. You can use code Friendo2024 to get a discount on that and all the great items that we have there. Wrestle Juice, my side channel, just hit 50,000 subscribers.
Congratulations.
It only took me 10 years. So yeah, I figure, you know what, it's a little bit of Cena homage merch here. Everybody says, hey, you look like a fat ass John Cena. So I put myself on there. And yeah, it looks like I'm looking for my car in the parking lot right there. Just got out of watching a show.
You got the Christian Cage pose going there too.
Well, his is what's the genesis of him doing that?
John Gargano does that too.
Yeah, for me it's like, where did I put my car?
Yeah, no, you're trying to keep like the sun out of your eyes so you can see your car in the parking lot.
Where's that car?
Yeah,
it's so sunny out here. It's 106. It's like a summertime in Sacramento.
Oh, you know your car is going to be like 170 degrees inside.
Stupidly, I got a black car, so it's going to be so hot in there. I didn't put the screen up.
Oh, my.
It's been sitting out there for 3 hours.
Try to park in the shade?
Right. Get the shirt to commemorate that.
There we go.
All right, now Larson, please continue on.
Okay,
please
let's
continue
talk about the Sin City Street Fight. We talked about the finish, but there was a lot of other good stuff in this match, too. Some good table spots. That one where Priest is looking for the old school. And Drew pushes him off the top rope through a couple tables, and that's what directly precedes the Claymore into the chair. That was brutal. The future shock on the ring steps. There was a lot of fun stuff in this.
Yeah, there was a ton of fun stuff in this. Yeah, the future shock on the ring steps. That was really cool.
And then there's a table spot where Drew gets put through the table and his back got all cut up too.
Mm-hmm.
So you could see the physicality of this match, and especially with that finish. I'm surprised we didn't get a close-up of Priest selling that, getting the Claymore to his head into a chair.
Dude, well, no. When Drew was leaving, it cut back to Priest, and he was saying, "I can't hardly breathe. I have a hard time breathing. I can't breathe."
Yeah, but it wasn't.
That would have been amazing. Yeah, that'd have been great. Yeah,
let's replay that. But yeah, fun match. Drew wins. He's probably going to win a lot. Let's talk this Intercontinental Championship match. Penta versus Dom Mysterio versus Finn Balor. Yeah. Versus Braun Breaker. Everybody got an opportunity to shine, get their shit in.
Yeah, man, this was a lot. This was a ton of fun.
This was a
Also,
ton of fun.
sorry, Carson just gifted 10 memberships to the
Well,
community.
thank you
Thank
so
you very
much,
much, Carson. Appreciate that.
So Carlito makes his way down to the ring, gets involved, of course.
Oh yeah, because he was getting back at Braun for that gnarly spear of his.
Yeah. So, but first trouble, Carlito took another gnarly spear this time. Braun runs off one of the announce tables onto the other one, puts Carlito through the table with that spear. And then he gets in the ring. He's looking for a spear on Penta. Instead, he gets set into the ropes. Dom hits him with a 619, goes up top for the frog splash, but Finn knocks him off. So then Finn hits the corner drop kick and then a coup de grace on Braun. Dom breaks that up with the frog splash and then covers Finn to get the win.
I appreciate this here also. Once again, thanks to Ryan Luckman
Yes.
For doing the notes. Garrick's, he's at home. He's resting. I was like, notes, no way for you.
Notes,
we
no
got
way.
Luckman ready to go. And so, yeah, Chris, hopefully you're feeling better, dude.
I hope so, yes. Get well soon, Chris.
Yeah, absolutely. But I appreciate here, Luckman's notes says it was broken up by Dom with a huge frog splash to Finn Balor, who would, of course, eat the pin with Dom picking up the IC title. Finn equals pin. I know.
You were trying to tell me it was Finn's year. He was in line for a huge push because
Not me. One of them dirt sheets said
I know,
that.
but you were loudly endorsing that idea of Finn getting a huge push. And
I
you
would
thought
love
it was
to
gonna
see that.
start tonight at WrestleMania. Steve, there's a mantra for 2025, and unfortunately, it is Finn equals pin.
You know, bro, if I endeavor to manifest something, I feel like that should be encouraged, Larson. Especially something like Finn Balor.
Look,
Finn equaling win.
I got 3 Finn Balor shirts. I like Finn.
I have 3 as well.
I'm keeping it real though.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Well,
I'm
you
not
know
gonna-
what?
I'm not going to feed you a bunch of false hope.
You know what it was last year? Last year was sorry, Seth. Now it's yes, Seth.
Oh,
Maybe we can go from Finn equals. What would it take? Like just winning a title, right? From Finn equals.
Let's start with
pin
winning,
to Finn equals
winning
win.
like consecutive matches. Let's start there.
Okay, 2 matches, and then it'll start to smell like Finn equals pin. I mean, Finn equals
Finn
win.
equals win. Well, if he gets a win streak going, then yeah.
All right. Tacoma Streetcar Desire with a super chat says Meltzer's Rock won't be at Mania talk vindicated. Hey, look at that. Score another one for those other guys.
Good job, other guys.
Good job, other guys. Let's see here. Do we have any other? Not right now. Okay. Yeah, then we had Randy Orton comes down, talks a little bit, and he says, the mystery opponent, come on down.
Reveal yourself.
Reveal yourself, please, sir. And then the door opens, it slides open, and then it's a guy standing not looking at us. Because it's Joe Hendry.
Yeah,
Say his name. He turns around and does the whole thing. It was awesome, man. It was so great for Joe Hendry.
Yeah, what was the announcement? Attendance 62,000, 64,000.
Oh, hell. 63. It was 63 something. 256,
We'll get to
I
that
think.
segment later.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
But yeah, there's a lot of people waving their hands from side to side for Joe Hendry.
Wave your hands.
So we kind of went over the finish of this. It was preceded where Hendry's looking for his finish, and Randy is just like, "You're not going to do this to me," and then pokes him in the eye.
Yeah.
We get a bunch of standard Randy stuff: draping DDT, spinning power slam. He's looking for an RKO, but then Hendry versus that to a fallaway slam, and then he does the turnaround to the camera thing and smiles, and that's where Randy comes into the RKO out of nowhere. Framed it perfectly. Hilarious. Really well.
This was awesome. This was perfectly done, yeah.
He wins, and then, as you mentioned, he raises Hendry's arms so the crowd could cheer for him, and then hits him another RKO. And then he does the Joe Hendry thing where he turns towards camera, but he does his pose.
Yep.
All right, this next match, dog shit. Logan Paul versus...
I'm not going to say it was dog shit, man.
It sucked, Steve.
I mean, it wasn't terribly compelling. In
No, it
terms
was-
of like, okay, well, go ahead and explain why you believed it was dog shit.
Because the one of the participants in this match was more focused on like doing stuff with drones as opposed to putting on a compelling, interesting wrestling bout.
Yeah, I mean,
The
if that's
pace
that's,
was
yeah.
really slow considering
Uh-huh.
the people involved in this bout. The only redeeming quality of this match is that Karrion Kross showed up.
Yeah, Karrion Kross got a WrestleMania moment.
did, but it led to AJ Styles losing, which he shouldn't be losing to Logan Paul. Therefore, for those reasons, and I could probably think of several more, dog shit match.
So my reason for this being a dog shit match is simply Logan Paul brings one thing to the equation. He does one thing. Every once in a while, he will do something cool athletically.
Yeah.
Him and Ricochet doing the springboard collision thing. Usually there is some point in a Logan Paul match where you watch it and you're like, oh, that was cool. He is athletic. He can do something coordinated. There was none of that in this match.
No.
Now, I think AJ Styles I think he's got the ability to, because look, he's like our age, you know? It's not 2016 anymore.
No.
So it's not like he's that high-flying guy anymore.
No, but he's still a fantastic in-ring performer. He could still tell a really good story in the ring.
He's been able to adapt and become a hell of a storyteller. Yes, 1,000%.
And as we've seen in previous Logan Paul matches, while he could do some impressive things athletically, feel like, especially recently, he has come up short. Probably because he didn't have the same amount of time to prepare his matches.
Yeah.
Comes up short when it comes to the storytelling department.
Right. And I'm sure maybe if they wanted to coordinate some cool, really athletic move that Logan Paul could do.
I mean, Forgotten Media has it right here. It says the story of this match was Logan dominated and then he won.
It was like this match was just a springboard for AJ Styles and Karrion Kross to continue on their feud.
Yeah.
Because that led to AJ Styles eating the pin here.
Yeah.
But there was absolutely nothing compelling about it. And the one thing that Logan Paul usually can bring to a match, completely gone. That did not exist. So then you're just like, all right, so it's just, why am I watching this guy continually grab a drone with its fucking 360p fidelity and then it flies away? Like, I get it. He's an influencer. But like, I don't know. There was just nothing. There was no story to this match.
Nope.
There was one moment with Karrion Kross where he tried to convince AJ, be bad, and AJ wouldn't do it. Instead, he decked Karrion Kross, and then he ended up losing to Logan Paul. But the one thing that this guy brings to the equation was completely absent.
Yeah.
So, I mean, was it a wrestling match that existed? And was it botch free? Sure. It existed. The match happened.
Yeah.
But nothing beyond that said anything about anything. So there you go.
It's no good. So the finish sees AJ looking for nominal forearm. He misses. Logan hits him with that punch that's supposed to be like really powerful, even though I think in his entire boxing career he's never knocked anybody out. Follows with his finish to get the win.
Yep. Then we had Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez putting their tag titles on the line against Lyra Valkyria, the current Intercontinental Champion, who looked amazing with some white and gold WrestleMania gear. Crowd was into her too, which was great to see.
Well, you got to mention the wings.
She had wings. Like on her arms, she had wings.
Yeah.
And they look great.
Yeah, they did look really good.
Yeah.
It would be really easy to do something like that and make it look kind of cheesy.
Mm-hmm.
The wings look great.
Yeah, they did.
They were awesome.
Yeah.
There was nothing cheesy about it. It was awesome.
Yeah. And her, of course, mystery partner, because somebody laid out Bailey in advance, like yesterday.
It's so weird. Why is Bailey not on the WrestleMania card?
I don't know. To facilitate the return of Becky Lynch, I guess.
Well, I mean, obviously, but like, you can't get Bailey on the WrestleMania card, really?
Yeah, I know. I thought at the very least, like, she had like shown up to, like, you know, facilitate the ending of this match or something. I don't know. Somebody earlier, and I'm scrolling through our chat to try to give credit to this person, but somebody said, it was a while ago, said something along the lines of, don't forget, I think it was out there that Becky didn't want to come back until there was like good creative for her. There was something for her to do. Mm-hmm. And it's entirely possible that this is going to that she's back now because they have something for her to do.
Yeah, I would suspect that's the case. It's probably a feud with Bayley.
A Becky Bayley feud could be, if booked properly, fucking awesome. Could be absolutely outstanding. So hopefully we get something there. But yeah, we've talked about this before. Vermillion here in Twitch chat says Roxanne and Bayley should have at least been in Stand and Deliver.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
So the first half of this match was kind of constructed where Lyra was isolated by Liv and Raquel and building to the hot tag for Becky. Becky could tell, elated to be back. She was really emotional.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Waiting for that hot tag. Eventually she gets it. Becky eats a Oblivion from Liv after hitting a bunch of stuff. And then Lyra breaks up that pin. So then Liv's looking for Oblivion on Lyra. She evades. She goes flying, does the kick, the wrecking ball kick to Raquel. Gets drop kicked by Liv. And then Liv turns around, eats a manhandle slam from Becky to get the win.
Yeah, yeah. Great return for Becky Lynch. Great return. And now Lyra's a two-time, a double champ. She's champ.
Champ.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
All right, next we had Stone Cold.
What a disaster.
Yeah.
What
an
absolute disaster.
All you had to do was come to the ring, announce the attendance, and then be done with it. But
he likes ATVs, though. He likes four-wheelers.
He likes to drive them really fast in confined spaces because that's what he was doing. He was blaring down the ramp and not letting off the gas where he does the circles around the ring. Well, during one of the turns, took it too wide, runs to the barricade, and then there was somebody there that got knocked backwards.
A woman got knocked backwards, and she didn't seem too happy about it. Nick Khan sprung up. Austin tried to, damn, I'm sorry about what happened. I got a little ambitious with my four-wheeler. I'm a Hall of Famer 2 times.
So
well,
anyways,
1.5. Brett's the other half.
Well, like kind of like 1.6 times. Like 60% of his head was on that bust.
I feel for this lady. Hopefully they gave her a lot of stuff.
Hopefully she's fine, and yeah. So he comes to the ring. He checks on the woman that got the barricade ran into from the ATV. He gets in the ring. He announces a totally bullshit number for the attendance for night 2.
63,226 sons of bitches here in the audience, which means for 2 days we have 123,856,000. Yeah. It's all a bunch of bullshit. DTA don't trust attendance.
Well, that's what he says. Well, I got to do the count to confirm this number. So he starts counting people ringside, and then gives up.
It's too many people.
So then he's done. He drinks his beers.
He goes over back to that lady who is being talked to by Nick Khan.
Yeah.
And he is just drenched in Steve Weisers.
Yeah.
And Nick Khan is like, you need to go. You're making things worse right now. What's wrong? She's not an Austin 316 fan. I'm sorry, Dwayne's not here. I'm not good enough for you. How about am I good enough for a Luther's press?
So hopefully she's fine.
I hope she's fine. Look, man, if I was sitting there with Lacey and she got hit by Stone Cold, I'd give her a Steve Weiser. No, that'd be fucked up, man. Yeah. Like you see your wife with cry face. That's not fun.
No, it's not.
That's not good. I'd be like, come on, milk those tears a little bit. Let's see what Nick Khan's going to give us. I want 1 million.
Then we get to our main event. We talked about it quite a bit. I don't know if we need to go through the moves. There's a lot of AAs, a couple crossroads.
Moves? There was like 50 double axe handles and 5 AAs.
Yeah. Yeah, Travis Scott comes down. I don't know why John Cena raised Travis Scott's arm when he comes to the ring. Like, you're in the middle of a match, John.
Yeah, I don't know. It was weird.
It was strange. But anyways,
the whole thing. Look, I know I don't have all the facts for the stuff that Travis Scott with the Astro World travesty, which was horrible.
Yeah, that was.
Whenever you hear about something like that, it's pretty awful. But, barring that, I've heard some of his music. I like his music from what I've heard.
Mhm.
And I think it's not a terrible idea for a celebrity of this stature to be involved in stuff, especially somebody who's really into it. Obviously he threw a couple of stiff shots at Cody when they did the Elimination Chamber thing, and he probably got a little bit of a talking to. I'm sure Cody was fine with it. Shit happens in wrestling. So I'm not anti any of this. I'm like, oh, Travis Scott, cool, right on. He's a big name. It's a big deal. It's part of Rock's crew. And he was the missing piece that I guess would help put Cena over the top, thanks to The Rock and the moves that he's made. But the execution of all of it was very awkward and slow and not the most interesting thing in the world.
Yes. So Travis comes to the ring, and John Cena gives him a handshake and helps him up to the apron and raises his hand. There was a ref bump that preceded that. And then Cody hits a crossroads, I believe, and then Travis pulls the ref out, another ref bump. So then Cody gets up and is like, oh, I remember you smacking me in the face. Mm-hmm. Get in the ring. So Travis gets in the ring. He eats the crossroads. Cody sends him out of the ring, and that's when Cena goes and gets the belt. We have the tug-of-war bit. Cody can't bring himself to hit John Cena with the title. So Cena kicks him in the front area, follows with a belt shot, pins him for the win.
Yep. Number 17 for John Cena.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, I don't know, man. A couple years from now, maybe we'll do like a 10 most bizarre moments from John Cena's final title reign.
Maybe.
We'll see where this plays out. What your first gut tell you in terms of your instinct tell you on when is he going to lose this title?
Are they doing the 2-day SummerSlam this year? Is it this year they're doing the 2-day SummerSlam? All right, it could be SummerSlam.
I believe.
It could be SummerSlam. Because in Minneapolis, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, probably maybe SummerSlam. Because that's the last... It's not going to be at War Games. Oh, it's in Jersey, that's right. SummerSlam's in Jersey. Next year it's in Minneapolis.
Next year, okay.
Because it's the last of the... Survivor Series is War Games now, so it's not going to be there. It's the last stadium show of the year, SummerSlam is.
Oh, okay.
So they probably do the rematch at the stadium show.
So, 4 months of a bad guy reign, another 4 months of redemption, and then he's good. Mm-hmm. And then they're probably going to do like a special themed John Cena last match premium live event
in December.
Yeah, could be.
Yep.
There you go.
So we get maybe 2 or 3 slow, meticulous, plodding John Cena World Championship matches.
What do you think Punk's reaction will be when John Cena says, "Look, Punk, I'm trying this new thing. It's called anti-wrestling. It's called anti-entertainment." You think Phil's receptive to that?
It depends on how compelling of a case John Cena makes.
Yeah. I think he could probably be a pretty persuasive guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe. We'll see. I don't know. It's going to be, look, again, I'm interested. I'm intrigued. Curious to see where this goes.
Yeah, but it's not like an excited curiosity. It's like, are they? Because here's the thing: if the next match, if he has a match with Orton that's 40 minutes of just like watching paint dry, then there's a pattern being established, And then you think, okay, this is what it is, and this is why. And it's the situation where you can be intrigued, but not looking forward to it.
Because Backlash is in St. Louis. It's got to be Orton. It's got to be Orton. And then you got to think Money in the Bank will be Punk. Mm-hmm. Well, it depends on if Punk's going to stay on Raw.
Yeah. I mean, again, the brand split isn't like a serious thing.
Yeah, I know. I wonder.
Show up some point to confront Cena and, hey, let's do it again at Money in the Bank. That's all it takes.
I mean, he's called him out a couple times already. Yeah. Okay, well, let's plot this out then, dude. We got Orton at Backlash.
Mm-hmm.
That's in May. We got Punk in June at Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
When's the Saudi show? He said it's
night of the summer?
Is it Night of Champions?
I think so.
Is it in between Money in the Bank and SummerSlam?
Maybe.
Okay. Let's say Saudi show. Who's he got at Saudi show? It's a big show. Gotta be another good guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be Priest, is it?
No.
Hey, John Cena. Who could it be?
Who could it be?
Paul Bear says AJ Styles. I don't know if AJ's in that spot. Oh, wow. Champ says Goldberg.
Oh, wow.
You think Goldberg's going to want to go back to Saudi?
I don't know.
Could you imagine a 30-minute anti-wrestling match with Goldberg? That might literally be hell. That might actually be hell.
Yeah, that's pushing the limits of what you can do with that idea.
Yeah. LA Knight.
Yeah, LA Knight.
LA Knight would be... I'm not going to say the match is going to be fun if they're doing anti-wrestling. Sammy would be a hell... Yeah, Sammy could be creative with that concept.
Yeah, he could be.
Sammy and Saudi. Hey, if they're gonna do Orton and St. Louis, Sammy and Saudi.
That makes sense.
You could do that. All right.
Makes sense.
And then that takes you to SummerSlam. Cody 2.
Yeah.
He loses there, recognizes that, anti-wrestling isn't the thing.
Yeah.
Kicks it into gear.
He loses the match and looks around and everybody's asleep. It's like, this isn't the way.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
That's it.
And then what's after SummerSlam?
Bad Blood. Bad Blood's in there somewhere.
Yeah, that's October. You're right.
October,
I think they got like some probably some Saturday night's main events.
He's re-advertised for the Saturday night main event in May in Tampa.
In May, that's right. Where's that going
wrestle,
down?
but he's just advertised for it.
Do we know where that is? Oh, here we go. Okay, Nirvana. Dylan has it. Backlash in St. Louis on May 10th. Saturday night's main event May 24th.
Tampa. It's in Tampa. That's where John Cena lives.
Okay, well that can be anybody.
Since moved to LA or not, but anyways.
Money in the Bank June 7th. Saturday night's main event July 12th. SummerSlam August 2nd and 3rd. Clash in Paris on August 31st.
Oh, that's right. He'll be on the
So
Paris
Clash
show.
in Paris, he'll be on the road to being a good guy again.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll have Drew.
Could be.
Drew should be his retirement match. That should be the last one. And Drew wins that.
Yeah. And then there's another premium live event in Perth in October that I think he's advertised for.
Okay. All right. Perth. Australian.
Mm-hmm.
Who do they have that's an Aussie? I mean, fuck it. Do Rhea at that point, right?
That'd be great.
Holy shit. Oh, my God. Anti-wrestling. We'll see it. All right. Anyways, that's going to do it for the show, man. Hey, WrestleMania. This has been an experience, as it always is.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in.
Yes.
We appreciate it. Anything else you want to add, man?
We'll see y'all tomorrow night for
Hey, star ratings for night 2 tomorrow morning, or tomorrow morning for us, anyways.
Yeah.
So there's that. And then tomorrow evening, Raw After, we're not going to do a watch along for Raw After Mania, but we will do the review right after Raw.
Yep.
So be sure to stay tuned for that. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. If you want in on the next Predictions Challenge, make sure to re-up your membership. Make sure to re-up your patron. Or if you didn't participate and you're like, oh, wow, this seems neat, it seems fun, click join here at youtube.com/Stephen Larson. Go to patreon.com/Stephen Larson. Click on the Friendo Club setup. Either way you do it, it's the same exact thing. Access to old bonus episodes, question threads for the weekly recap shows, and access to, of course, the Predictions Challenge heading into May. We're going to talk about, it's probably going to be Backlash, but there's also Saturday night's main event. You didn't mention that one.
Oh, that's right. And there is Double or Nothing, too.
And, of course, Double or Nothing. Wait, what was the other thing you said? It was Backlash?
We just said Saturday night's main event, and then Double or Nothing.
And Double or Nothing, yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. We'll see. We'll talk about it. Anyways,